What is up guys, my name is Fraze and today we're going to be talking about the optimal CSGO config for 2017. Is there one, and should you worry about your config at all? Today we're going to find out and hope you guys enjoyed the video. So let's just start out the video with the video settings. A lot of people ask this for professional players or just other players in general or streamers. The only thing that I think is important is to just put everything on low. There's no reason to have anything on high. It's just bad for the game itself and it doesn't look good and it just makes it choppy. And you should also put the multi-core render on enabled. I also recommend playing in full res because you do not have the 4:3 resolution, which makes you have black bars, or if you stretch it you kind of just lose some of your screen. It doesn't matter though, because obviously as you can see a lot of pro players play with 4:3, so it's just personal preference. But if you're new to the game, I'd highly recommend you playing full res. Don't get used to 4:3 if you're not already used to it. Usually the reason why pro players play with 4:3 is because they're used to it from older versions of the game like CS Source or even CS 1.6, and there's no reason for them to change now. There's no significant advantage of playing 4:3 or full res, so you should just stick to what you're used to and enjoy yourself with the game. The next thing you should do is just go on to Steam, download this view model map from the workshop. This is just an easier way to do things, and I personally prefer this, and I think you guys would enjoy this too, so that's why I'm recommending this. I also highly suggest you to put view model movement on lowest. Anything else you can just play around with here and see what you like and do whatever. The next big thing a lot of people ask is crosshair, which is 100% personal and just whatever you want. You can play with whatever crosshair you choose, but I really suggest you to learn these lines right here. CL crosshair size, the gap, thickness, and draw outline and color. Basically what you do is just to put these lines in the console and put a number after the line itself. It's gonna give you a suggestion, the current one that you already have. So let's say crosshair color. If you don't know it already, you can just play around with it, see which color 5 is or whatever, and draw outline. It's either 0 or 1. You can probably put 0.5 in for a thinner outline as well. And gap as well. You just play around with numbers from 0 to like around 4 or 5 even. Real quick, I'm just going to show you how you adjust the digital vibrance of your graphics card. This is for NVIDIA. All you do is right click down right on control panel, choose adjust settings, and then go to digital vibrance, put it on whatever you like. A lot of people have it on everything from 70 and all the way up to 100. I tend to see a lot of people ask how you can change the color of your HUD. So basically what you do is just go into game settings, and here you can simply just change to whatever color on the list under the HUD color section. So hope that helps. I thought I'd just leave that in the video, so if some of you didn't know already, that's that. And if you knew already, that's whatever. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, and as always, have a good one. The things that I've done to the config, I've done some small tweaks. Primarily I've done 4:3 because I thought it was kind of weird to promote to play 16:9 full res when I personally play 4:3 black bars. So this is more relevant, and I thought a lot of people might like this one over the previous one. And if you wonder who plays this config, you got Stewie2K, JW, and a lot of other streamers. Not exactly this, but like the resolutions and so on. And if you like the crosshair that's currently on the screen, it's going to be down below in the description as well as the config itself. So the very first thing you might notice is that I've changed the 1280 by 960 to 1152 x 864, and I also put global shadow quality on high, so you can actually get the advantage of seeing the shadow of someone coming around the corner. Just learn this, the triple line down there is going to be disabled, all of them, and I put 4x on the two above, and I enabled multi-core rendering, which you should too. You can play around with the settings here if you would want to, but I highly recommend you to keep it as it is. The resolution is up to you of course, but this is what I recommend. So now I'm just going to show you some gameplay of me using the config, how it looks. It's going to be pretty smooth. My FPS should be really high. It's not going to take a lot of your computer because I'm playing on low, only global shadow quality thingy on high. And yeah, this is how it looks. Pretty much looks like if you watch Stewie2K streaming, and it feels really good. Keep in mind this is black bars, not stretched. It's just stretched for you to view because I stretched it in OBS. And if you wonder if there's any commands that I use afterwards that's not included in the config, I use two things, and that is FPS_max 500, or you can just put it on 0, which I mostly use, but before I used to use 500. It's about the same. And I also use clear, because that's just gonna get rid of everything if you have hard OCD. You can also see me switch between left hand and right hand. I currently have it keybinded to T for left hand and caps lock to clear it to go back to right hand. All you need to do is just put this line in the console and remove key name with the key that you would want to use. And you do the exact same thing with the 0 one. You just put another key, just make sure you don't have the same key, because I don't think that's gonna work. And for me, I use T to put it on left hand, and to put it back on 0, I just use caps lock. I noticed after the first video I made, a lot of people asked me for the launch options. I didn't think a lot of people would care about this, because personally I just put this in here, which is no width, removes the intro of the game when you launch the game, because personally I have had some bad experiences putting a lot of shit in here, so I wouldn't recommend you to put a lot of things in here. But if it works for you, you could put all these things that a lot of people recommend, like 144 Hz and using the core of your CPU, I believe, but that's up to you. It's very simple if you have NVIDIA to change to stretched from normal resolution. So if you're using this config and you don't want black bars, if you want to stretch it, this is how you do it. You go down right, you right click NVIDIA and go to control panel, you click what I've clicked here, and you can just go on full screen and just GPU check. It's gonna black out for a couple of seconds and then you're good to go. If you would want to increase your digital vibrance on your monitor, which I highly recommend you do, you don't have to go all the way to 100%, even though I do and a lot of other people do as well. I recommend you to up it to at least 70 or 80. That's going to make a huge difference for your gameplay, and it's going to be a lot more clear, and the game itself is just going to look better, but also make the models appear much easier, even though the monitor itself has a lot to say about that, because it's the black equalizer on the monitor. And for those of you who care what sensitivity and DPI I use, it's on the screen right now. I use 0.9 in-game and I use 800 DPI on my mouse. This is 100% personal, so this is just for the people who would like to know what I use personally. So there we have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This has been an amazing video to create. I've used so much time on it. Hope you guys appreciated it. Please leave a like if you liked it. And if you really liked it, please hit subscribe. And if there's anything you would want to ask, or if I forgot something to put in the video, feel free to ask in the comment section down below. And as always, have a good one. What is up, guys? My name is Fraze, and today we're going over the see-through effect going on in the CSGO community right now. It is a lot on Reddit, and a lot of pro players are talking about it if they're missing out on some smoke settings because they feel like they're getting killed before they can even see them through the smoke, or even using the radar. So a lot of people are speculating if there is some video settings going on, if there is something that they're missing out on, and I can tell you this is the settings that you want. It is called NVIDIA Freestyle. You can see them earlier on the smoke than on your radar, which used to be the opposite before. With your normal settings, you're going to use the radar to see through smoke before you can actually see them through the smoke, so you just start shooting as soon as you can see them on the radar. It's the exact same thing when it comes to Molotovs. You're going to be able to see just above the fire, where usually there was a black grayish background from the fire itself. Now that is completely removed, so it should be so much easier to see through and over and on the sides of the Molotov, which makes the opper or just a rifler have a huge advantage using these settings. Do you think this is an exploit? Let me know down below in the comments, and let's continue on. So now you're gonna ask me how to do it, and I have taken a picture on my phone because I had no way of recording it on my computer, because it's NVIDIA Freestyle. Is kind of weird, but you just hit Alt and C on your keyboard, and then it's gonna pop up. You hit filters and you just put in these settings. I'll be leaving it down in the description because the pictures is kind of bad. It should be fairly easy, and I hope you guys enjoy. The last thing you want to do before you're set is to put your shader detail on high and also your effect detail onto high, and you should be good. If you now have the freestyle settings and both of these on high, you should be able to get the so-called exploit. You can test it for yourself. This should not be bannable because it's allowed by NVIDIA, and Valve has not banned it yet. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, and if you really liked it, hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon. So what is up, guys? My name is Fraze, and today we got something very special. Last night, Face Nico called out Sipex on Twitter after the ECS finals against MIBR. He was aiming through the smoke in a 1v1 against Cold Sarah. He seems to have something or know something that other players do not, because he shoots through the smoke without seeing him on the radar, or there is any way of seeing him through the smoke. Of course, people started to try to find out what this thing is. A lot of people thought it was the NVIDIA settings, which I have a video on. So only from last night on Reddit, I gained 5,000 views. So people are searching all over Reddit and Google and YouTube, happen to find my video on it, because you can see the feet before you can see their body, because Sipex tweeted that he saw the feet of Cold Sarah, which you do not do when you're spectating. So people thought it was just a spectate bug, because sometimes the player himself will see other things than you from a spectator point of view. Nico then goes on to say, I'm not calling anyone out, and they are not the first players which are using it, and it's not their fault. I hope CSGO dev will look into it and try to fix it somehow. Taco then responds, but I'm gonna help you. Players don't talk about it, but we all know that certain players have using it for months now. I never thought Astralis was using it though. Someone had to come up with this if we wanted it to get fixed, quote by Nico. So there obviously some controversy going on in the pro scene that we do not know anything about. However, I think there is a lot of speculation, as I said, going on with the smoke settings, if there's something that people don't know about. Nico then says, it became way too common for players, even myself, to sit in the smokes and watch radar, which also in my opinion should be fixed. You shouldn't be able to see anyone on the radar until you can actually see them on the screen. I 100% agree with this. It shouldn't be that you have to look on the radar to get the info that you need. You should be able to just look at the screen itself. If their player is visible or not, shouldn't be visible on the radar first. And then there's this clip by Glaive. A lot of people think this clip is very suspicious. However, I don't think so myself, because I think this looks extremely different on his monitor. Because this is one of the instances where I think that the point of view we're watching from, it seems very suspicious. However, you can see that the smoke is fading in the very end. So on his monitor, the smoke was probably fading a little earlier, so you could either see him on the screen or on the radar, which makes it look very suspicious. Then Sipex tweets, I have never known of these Nvidia settings. I could see his feet from my screen, don't know why the clip doesn't show it. Super sad that pro players jump to these conclusions. They should know that smoke bugs while spectating after all these years exist. Then Nico responds, all due respect Sipex, I never said that it has to do with your Nvidia settings. It can be monitor settings or video settings in the game, which can help you see a bit clearer while smoke is fading, and if you don't use it, I effed up. And obviously I know about the smoke bug from the spectator point of view. And then of course Glaive himself steps in to answer. By the way, I saw some people talk about the Nvidia settings to look easier through smokes. I can say for sure that no one from our team would ever use something like that, and none of us have any idea how that bug even works. We use radar and game sense. Then Thorin comes in and says, so basically Nico just needs to get good at looking through smokes, huh? With some good banter from Thorin, of course. And then Glaive answers, I don't know if people is accusing us, but I know that especially me and Sipex is really good at shooting through smokes. I just want to make it clear that we are not using any smoke bug and have never used it before. So we are now left off with the conclusion that we do not know whether Australians are doing something very suspicious, or if they're just better at looking through smokes, or if there is a setting that they use. But I have heard that Loban or whatever his name is from FPL does know about something, but I doubt Astralis is using that. So I might try to find some updated versions of the Nvidia freestyle settings, but I will link the video down below if you want to see it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like down below, and if you really liked it, hit subscribe, and as always, have a good one. What is up guys, my name is Fraze, and today we got the part 2 of the Astralis smoke controversy. Since I made one video on this, I thought I could create a part 2. Glaive just keeps on having fun on Twitter, tweeting some settings that he uses and everything, trying to pretend that he's using some kind of wall hack or seeing through smokes, whatever. So we got some juice today to look at, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And of course, this happens straight after the call out.
Buy himself some time and try and pick up that M4. Oh my god, what? Tweet that one, Nico.
So as you can see on the clip, Glaive just goes straight in and aims straight on the enemy that he wants to hit, and he hits it perfectly. A lot of people are going to say, you see, it's obvious they're doing something illegal or got some information that we don't know about. However, I don't think Astralis is cheating whatsoever. I think this is where one of the spots where Glaive knows where to pre-aim. You see, after he hits the first one, he goes to aim for the second one, because he knows some of the pre-spots already in his mind where he's gonna shoot, because he's gonna be there for only like a couple of seconds, because he don't want to get shot back, because people can see his tracers from his UMP. Thorin tweeted, Australians are so good that one of the best individual players in CSGO history just essentially called hacks on them over their play in an offline BO3 at a big tournament. This is kind of unheard of. Nico, who is one of the best players in the world, are calling the best team in the world for doing something that the community don't know anything about, because he's probably been so frustrated about Australians doing this for over some time, so he just decided to tweet about it because he wanted something done. Then Fallen joins in and says, Australians played very well, stop the hate on them regarding the smokes. What you see on the spectator mode can be different of what a player is seeing on his client. Every CSGO client has its own smoke spinning on its own. It seems it happens to us all good. Valve could take a look into that and maybe find a formula that will fix that issue. Also, radar showing enemies on the end of the smoke should be fixed too. Then Magic says, yeah, sadly some people think it's better to jump to conclusions. GG's. It's still not official if people are actually using the NVIDIA settings that I created a video on. I've been talking a lot about this, but it's crucial. A lot of people say it still works to this day, so you can go down in the description and look at that video. And if so, you are free to use it. Valve has not banned it or said NVIDIA freestyle is illegal in any way, so take advantage of it while you can. Then this caster comes in and says, my observer settings are literally all very high, guys. By far not the best for actual competitive play, just purely for aesthetics. What you see is not exactly what they see. This is a huge topic in and of itself, because a lot of people watch streams or tournaments whatsoever and they can see from a POV that a observer has. So you're spectating a player and the game looks very different from that POV, as I've talked about in part 1 of this series. And then of course, Glaive himself comes in with the banter. I am wondering where I should go for a smoking hot vacation this summer. So Glaive obviously is having some fun with this. A lot of people are accusing them for some shady stuff, which they obviously haven't done in my opinion. And this is kind of funny because Fallen hit some pretty nice smoke kills on Dust in one of his competitive games versus North. Just take a look at this. He hits one and then goes for a second kill. And then of course Glaive comes in and wants his settings. So at this point everything has just become a joke. So I might just end the series here at a part 2, because I don't think there's anything shady going on, but there's a lot to cover when it comes to smokes in this game. There's so many things that can be done from Valve's point of view, and if there is something we don't know as a community. So for now we just have to wait, either get an update from Valve to fix this issue from the spectator point of view, and that resolutions and settings tend to have a play on how visible it is, or we can wait for Loba to reveal his settings, even though I doubt that's gonna happen in the near future. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you know when I'm uploading a new video. Leave a like and comment what you think, and let me know what you want me to upload in the near future. And as always, have a good one. Show you the updated version of the video that I created. It was 4.3 just like me, so I'm gonna go through it, the config itself. You're gonna find, I think I just made the perfect CSGO config. Der er vi mange. Åh. So what is up guys, my name is Fraze and today I'm finally here to show you what I think is the perfect CSGO config. I've made videos on this for years now, and today I'm going to present something that is out of the ordinary. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like down below, comment what you want to see next, hit subscribe with notifications on, and let's get straight into the video. The very first thing is going to be the crosshair. Take a look at this clip and you will understand why I chose exactly this crosshair.
ramp. What? Hæ? Er det Asen?
So as you can tell, this crosshair is very small, but I think it's very nice. It's without a outline, however you can feel free to add it when you're playing maps like Cache and Dust when it's kinda hard to see, but I think this crosshair is one of the better ones you can have. Simple used this for a long time and it's really good, as you can tell.
Sorry. Nei, du kan jo pikke han der, altså.
One side.
As you might have seen on the bottom of the screen, there's my teammates and enemies, and the way you do this is going to go to game settings under mini scoreboard position and style. You put on bottom of screen and show player count. This is going to make it very easy for you to keep up how many there's left during a clutch, so you don't have any doubt in your mind.
Jesus Christ, more.
Bra. Nice.
So for the video settings and the resolution, all you gotta do is open up video settings, put on 4:3 normal, which is the aspect ratio we're gonna go with, and on resolution I go by 1280 by 960. This is one of the best resolutions for 4:3 in my opinion, because it's very nice looking with these qualities and it makes it look very HD even though it's on a lower resolution. So for the advanced video settings, you got the quality, the details and so on, the shader detail. I put everything on low and very low. This makes it very nice and smooth in game. And then you have multi-core rendering, you gotta have it on enabled no matter what. And for the aliasing mode, you can do 4x or 8x, doesn't matter really, and the aliasing should be enabled at all times. Same goes with texture filtering mode, you can have that on 8x as well, but 4x is more than enough. Probably see me do this a lot of the time, switching between left and right hand, and it's very easy to do this. I put the command on screen right now, I'll also be leaving it down in the description. All you do is put this in, remove key with the key that you actually want to use, and you just hit it to make it go back and forth. Personally, I use caps lock. You don't have to use that button, but I think it's a very good one, so feel free to use that if you want. You can also just use whatever key you like. So one more thing that you might notice about this config is that my net graph is set to 0. This is optional, however I decided to do so because it looks very nice, and a lot of the time I don't have any FPS or any ping issues with my internet. So you can also just tab to see your ping during games, and FPS should be consistent if you don't have any problems. So net graph set to 0 is not an issue.
De är inne i bäst. Den är i vindu. Nu ute på med en sätta. Vad gick mot då?
Jeg gikk mot A her.
Ja, det hørtes som sånn. Å! Kom igjen da. For the ace clutch.
This is by far the most aesthetically pleasing config I've made so far for a 4.3 resolution config, so I hope you guys really enjoy this because I think this is amazing. So onto the launch options, I've decided to do the no vid as I always use. It's because I want to remove the intro when you launch the game, as you probably know. I also decided to add the D3 D9EX for the faster Alt tab when you're in game if you want to get out of the game really quick and fast back into the game, so I really recommend that one. And frequency 144 is for the hertz, just to make sure that CSGO always runs in 144 hertz. And if you have a 240 hertz monitor, just put 240 instead of 144. Real quick, if you want to add the white HUD color, go into game settings under HUD color and put on white. I think this is an amazing look for the UI itself, so if you happen to care about those little things, you can do that if you want to. So onto my keybinds. This is very crucial for the config and what you think is good for you, because keybinds are very crucial for a smooth gameplay and make it easier for the player himself or herself. So what I want you to do is, you can copy me but also just do whatever you like, but you can try this out. I have flashbang on T, I find that to be very easy. Have that Molotov on 6. Also have my mouse 4 bound to talking with teammates. If you want that, it's very nice, even though mouse 4 is a very good bind, so if you wanted to use it to something more useful, do that. And I also have my smoke grenade grenade on mouse 5, which is very handy. So for my view model, you can tell that there is little to no movement. I have the least amount of movement on my view model as possible because I find it to be a little bit distracting, and also it feels very smooth to me to have the less motion of the weapon or knife or whatever your weapon is. But I have seen people like Simple who have it on normal, which is acceptable if you want it, of course. However, for me, that is just a no-go. It is very important that you realize that everything that I talk about in this video is highly based upon my own personal preference, and view model in particular is very much so based on personal preference. I'd say it has little to no effect on your gameplay, so you should choose whatever you like on this one. Same goes with a lot of the things that I talk about. So my goal is trying to create the perfect config for myself, and if you like it, it can be the perfect one for you as well. Even though I know perfect is a word that is very hard to match, but it is what it is. So for the jumping keybind on this config, I have space as default, but I also added a secondary jump. I know a lot of people don't like this, and I know a lot of people do like this. So I have bind, mouse wheel down plus jump. So I have 2 binds for jumping. This makes it a lot easier to bunny hop. However, a lot of people seem to have issues that they accidentally jump during a clutch moment or something because they hit their mouse wheel when they're trying to aim. So that might become a problem. However, I think it's really worth. That doesn't happen to me a lot of the time. So feel free to add this on your own. So for a very unique and nice thing to do in CS, do this right in bind H to R clear decals. You don't have to use H as your keybind, but this is huge if you are playing competitive or just care about the game at all. There are so many scenarios where it's very useful to clear blood from the wall or just bullets. This is a great example from bench on Mirage B site. If you come from short or anything, it might seem like there's an enemy because of the bullets. However, if you clear this, it's going to be a lot easier to see if there's actually the head of a player or bullets in the wall. One thing that is huge is the blood on the walls after killing enemies. This is going to be so useful. I didn't use this for a long time playing the game, so I think this is a great thing to add to the config. You can go down in the description, download the config yourself, or just manually add it to your own config. We are getting really close to 3,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe. That means so much to me. It's going to be pretty cool to hit that milestone. And also feel free to follow me on Twitter because I'm going to be more active on there, and it will be really cool to communicate more with my viewers, even though I've been very inactive. But I know a lot of you guys might have some questions or just want to talk to me, so feel free to just contact me on Twitter. So for my intro song, it is currently on the screen. It is no copyrighted, so feel free to use that song. I'll be leaving everything down in the description. And for the beat that I've been using throughout the entire video, it is Sonic is Building Momentum. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like down below, comment what you want to see next, subscribe with notifications on, and as always, have a good one.
Fraze made the perfect config.
So what is up guys, my name is Fraze, and today I'm This is way too strong.
Come on,
Now this is something else. I think we just figured it out. So what is up guys, my name is Fraze, and I am back with a part 2 of the perfect CSGO config. A lot of you guys been asking for it, and it's been so tempting to create this video. I've been on vacation, I've been sick, it's been everything, but here it is. I've finally created the video that you guys been wanting, and I hope you guys take the time to leave a like, subscribe. We're getting very close to 6,000 subscribers. My dream is to hit 10,000 subscribers, so if we could do that, I would be so happy. And as always, enjoy the video. Disclaimer, this is 100% personal preference. I said this in the previous video, but it was very far into the video, so a lot of people missed it. So as you can hear right here, it is very important that you realize that everything that I talk about in this video is highly based upon my own personal preference. So the very first thing we're gonna talk about is the anti-aliasing mode. I told everyone to put it on enabled, which is wrong because it makes the game feel a little bit more blurry. However, some people do like that, but it is a disadvantage when you're playing the game. It should be disabled because it gets a sharper feeling to the game, and it might just make it easier for you to aim on enemies when it's not this blur going on. The reason why I wanted you guys to have it on enabled was because it looked very good to me. However, after watching and researching, I realized that this is wrong. We should most definitely have it on disabled. For the people who wants to know my sense, I use a in-game sense of 0.68, which is very low, with a mouse DPI of 800. I prefer to play it that way with a very low sense and a bigger mouse mat because I like the aiming aspect of it, but as you can tell, it's not very good for surfing. So in order for us to get the maximum out of this config, I had to switch up a lot of the video settings from my previous video. The reason for this is that I want to see through Molotovs. I do have a video on it that you can watch, but the thing is, if you put shader and effect detail on high, you get an advantage to look through Molotovs, and global shadow quality is kind of optional. It's kind of tricky because you can get some advantages of it, but it's not huge. A lot of pro players play it on very low, so it doesn't matter that much, but feel free to have everything on high, even model and texture. If you have the computer for it, this can give you a lot of advantages because you have better shadows, you got to see through the Molotovs and so on. So if it doesn't plummet your FPS, you should most definitely do so. Very first thing you're going to notice is your knife and the shadows on it. This is just an aesthetic kind of thing, but it just looks very good, and you can also see it in the scope on the AWP when you're not scoped in. But this is not about how it looks, even though I really like it when it looks great. However, this is actually the best settings for playing because it helps you with Molotovs, as I will show you in a clip further into the video. With that being said, I don't think I could make this config feel or look any better. At this point, I think this is the greatest you can get from a 4:3 resolution config. However, I will be open to the idea that I'm wrong, so if necessary, I will create a part 3 of this series. However, I strongly doubt it because this is so good. Please take the time to watch the entire video to get all the information you need. So one of the things that a lot of people asked me about on the previous video was about the clear decals and the keybind that I suggested. However, if you remember, I actually told you guys you could put it on whatever keybind you wanted. Bind H to R clear decals. You don't have to use H as your keybind, but however, a lot of people suggested that you could put it on W, which is actually very good if you want to, because this makes it automatically clear the decals all the time throughout the entire game. However, the only flaw that I can see this having is that maybe one rare case where you actually want to not clear the decals. Maybe there's a situation like that, I don't know, but if not, put it on W. This is a very strong, so I suggest you to do so. And as always, you can go down in the description and you can find the command yourself, so you can just copy and paste it if you want to. There's a lot of good information down there. A small little thing that a lot of people told me about is in the launch options, where I suggested you to put the D3D9EX, which is not necessary anymore. Valve actually updated it, so it is in the files by default, so you can feel free to remove that. So just put in no vid and the frequency of your hertz on your monitor. A big thing that I didn't talk about previously was the digital vibrance and like the brightness settings. The first thing I want to say is that my digital vibrance is put on 90%. However, I did not use any NVIDIA throughout the video. I do not use NVIDIA Freestyle anymore. You can do so if you want to. I have a video on that, as I told you, but I don't think it's working anymore. I gotta be honest, I don't know. But for the brightness and everything, I also have another video on that. It is actually something that I changed in OBS, but you can achieve this on your monitor if you just change your monitor settings. My view model can be found in the config down below. However, I will also be putting it down in the description, so you can just copy that part of the config if you only want the view model, because a lot of people want it, and here it is. I'll be having it on screen, but it might be hard to read, so just go down in the description, copy the view model, launch your game, paste it into your console, and you're good to go. If you prefer a view model that has some sort of movement to it, this is not the one for you, because this is on the lowest possible movement.
Han så rekt!
As you can see in this clip, I have a very special minimap which I think is very nice to have. I'm going to show you how to get it, and I think it can be very helpful. I do believe that this minimap can have some advantages, but it might be just for the looks. However, the white outlines of the minimap tends to help me a lot when I'm watching where an enemy is. But you can open up game settings and have some radar settings that you can adjust, like the radar map zoom. I do have it on 0.4, which I do think is default, but you can play around here. A lot of people like it when it's entirely zoomed out, so you can see the entire map at all times, but I do see a lot of people like to zoom it into like 0.5. The enemies who are close are very easy to see exactly where they are. One thing that you can do is put in CL radar always centered 0. This is going to center the entire map and not on you, so you can see the entire minimap at all times. In order for you to get this minimap, you have to go to simpleradar.com. It's a very good website. I am not sponsored by this whatsoever. And you can scroll all the way down to customize, and you can customize your map. On the right side you have the preview. I happen to choose these settings shown in the video. However, you can do whatever you like, and then you can just go on to where it says done customizing and download it. And I'll show you exactly where you can put the files in order to actually get the radar in game. So what you want to do is open the local files of CSGO through Steam as shown in the video. You want to go on to resources and simply open up the WinRAR files that you downloaded when you hit download, and you want to mark all the files in the WinRAR as shown here, and you just want to drag them into the folder. The reason why I'm not doing it is because I already have done it prior to the video.
Nice.
Oldemor dead.
Dör men. Ingen flash.
Åh! Moms är spaghetti!
I assume you have enabled the settings that I talked about, or even playing the config down below, and this is one of the bigger advantages you'll see. You can actually see through the Molotovs. It is actually so good. I've made a video on this previously with NVIDIA Freestyle, but this is without NVIDIA Freestyle 100%, and it's still very strong. The next Molotov I'm gonna throw so you can watch to CT. This is ridiculous. Let's say the guy on CT doesn't have these settings. He will just win automatically. It's almost unfair. Here's a quick example of how good it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I've spent a lot of time working on it, as I always try to do on every single video that I create. So every like and comment, and even if you subscribe, means everything. So I really hope you take the time to do so, and feel free to follow me on Twitter. We recently hit 100 followers. It's not a lot, but it's something. I would love to have a community on there. And for the intro song that I've been using in the video, you can see it on the screen right now. Same goes for the background music that I've been using throughout the entire video, which is Sonic is Building Momentum, which is all free to use. And as always, have a good one. So what is up guys, my name is Fraze, and today I'll be going over a very simple way to actually play and install my perfect CSGO config. A lot of you guys been requesting it, and here it is. Please take the time to subscribe. We're very close to 10,000 subscribers. So the very first thing you want to do is to go onto my most recent video, which is the perfect CSGO config 2.0, or you can just go down in the description of this video you're watching right now. There's going to be a link of the config, and you're going to click that link and you're going to open up a Google Drive file. So when you open it up, you can see the entire config in a text format. So all you want to do is go to the top right of the screen and you want to hit download, and this is going to download a txt file. Real quick, you just have to open up your browser and search on Google for Notepad++ and hit download. You need this program in order to open up your config file. Before we go any further through this video, I want you to create a backup of your current config so you don't make the mistake of removing what you currently have and regretting it afterwards. Now right click your game in Steam, that will be CSGO, properties, go to local files and click Steam and scroll down a little bit and go to user data. And when you're here, you have to find your Steam ID. Mine happened to be the upper one, and then you go to 730 and config. And what you want to do is to copy your config.cfg. You want to paste it onto your desktop or whatever you want it to create a duplicate, so you have a backup file. Just a quick reminder, this is not a video on how to change config using a auto exec, but if you want to do that and you know how to, feel free to do so. And remember, in the description down below you're going to find a text version of this tutorial. So now we're actually ready to change the CSGO config, which was the goal of this entire video. So all you want to do is to go into your local files and go back to where you found your config. All you want to do is to open up the Notepad++, you want to hit Ctrl A and remove everything. And when you've done that, you want to open up the config that you downloaded and simply paste it into this file, hit Ctrl S or just File and Save. Now you can feel free to exit out of everything and launch CSGO. One last thing I want to go over is for the people who have trouble having the config to actually be saved for future playing. So what I did, I opened up the config, I added a new command, fps_max 500, and when I launched the game it worked, but the second time it was not there. So what you have to do is to right click properties and put on read only. Now you cannot change the config, so if you want to change it later on you have to right click and uncheck the read only, and then you can edit again, and this should be an easy fix to your problem. So this is what it should look like when you launch up CSGO. This is the result that you wanted. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like down below, subscribe with notifications on, and as always, have a good one. So what is up guys, my name is Fraze and today I'll be playing the perfect CSGO config that I created back in 2019. If you want to play it yourself, just go down in the description. Please leave a like down below, comment what you want to see next, subscribe with notifications on, and as always, hope you guys enjoy. Real quick, I just want to say thank you guys for 15,000 subscribers, that's insane. Let's get 20k. Before I show you some of the gameplay, I just want to say that Valve actually added a crosshair changer into the game itself. You don't have to download a workshop map anymore, and on the screen right now you can see my crosshair, so feel free to copy that. I thought I'd just let you guys know, which I guess 90% of you already know that, but hey, it's a very nice update by Valve.
Masse steps.
Söker du UG?
Steps i bens.
Nice. Ute bra.
Hvis det kommer til høyre der, ja.
Vent. Okay. Eller han stod på topp. Helvete, ok.
Ja, vi är redo.
Under window. Mid.
Baps.
I'm Baps.
Jag måste försöka connecta.
Bomba Baps.
En UG. Går lite segt under window. Ja. Nice.
Flash. What? Han ska bara...
Fett.
Fortsätt en bit av det.
Och tough goal.
Kommer mot dålig. Mr. AWP.
Går.
Ja, kommer.
Fraze med det setup of the config.
Config.
Ta den. Ligg här. Vänta ni. UG. Jo, en UG. Close. Där, Fraze.
I'm pit.
Nice.
En palace.